We are continuing our month-long series called Transportation Tuesdays here on Wake Up Idaho. As we talked about last week, 4 in 5 Idahoans drive alone to work. I am one of them. Less than 1% take public transportation. Why is that number so far below our neighboring states and the national average? How would taking the bus compare to the way most of us get to work normally? Well, I grabbed a bus pass to commute and found out. The bus is here. I just walked 5 minutes from my house to my nearest stop here in South Boise. I've done a little research on the route to work, downloaded the app to pay for my ride, then downloaded the correct app to pay for my ride, put some money on that, and we're ready to get on the bus. All right, we are underway on time and on our way here on the bus. And right now, Troy, my photographer, and I have the bus to ourselves. We're the only ones on here.
In fact, there were no other riders on this particular bus the entire half hour we were on the route. This illustrates why people are saying there's a lack of demand or just awareness for public transportation here.
As far as the bus itself, you can see it's actually very clean. That's because this is one of the new electric buses that VRT just bought, which means it's also using cleaner fuel as well. All right, we're at halftime of our trip. We are changing buses now. Quick check of our route shows that we got bus 7B. That should take us the rest of the way, and we got about a 5-minute wait right now. All right, I managed the very simple task of changing buses. We're on our way and on time as well, and a lot more riders riding with me this time.
One of those riders is Micah McDonald, an Idaho native.
I ride the bus probably about,
Next stop,
anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week. I definitely do think there are certain buses that need to come a little more often, or at least should, especially, after a certain time when they stop running.
And while the bus works for him most of the time, he understands why it doesn't work for others. Like me. I have to be to work at 4 a.m. and my bus doesn't even run until 7:10 a.m. So while my trip provides a good comparison, it is just not an option for me.
It doesn't come as frequently. A lot of people have just kind of taken to using their cars for everything.
And we've arrived. Almost. We still got about a 5-minute walk to the station, or rather, it would be 5 minutes if there was a crosswalk between here and there. But instead, we got to take this crosswalk here behind us across Fairview, go all the way down, cross again, and then come back. So we got another 15 minutes here of walking to the station. And we've arrived. Let's stop the clock and compare this bus commute to driving alone to work.
Let's start with cost. A 1-year bus pass is $282. AAA, meanwhile, estimates the annual cost of owning, driving, and maintaining a car is over $9 grand. Taking the bus wins the cost category easily. Let's talk time. Even with traffic, it would take me 15 minutes to drive to work. With walking and riding the bus, it took me almost an hour to get to the station. Driving alone wins the time category, going away. Convenience. This is tough. It's convenient for me to hop in my car in my garage and head to work, but much less so if the weather is awful or if I get stuck in a traffic jam. On the other hand, it was pretty convenient to let someone else drive me while I got some work done, but less so walking to and from the stops and changing buses. I'm going to call this one a tie. It depends really on what you think is most convenient. Finally, access. I have no trouble accessing my own car and parking right in front of my work. However, even though there's a bus stop just 5 minutes away from me, most folks in the valley don't have a stop that close, and my bus doesn't run when I need it to. So driving alone takes the access category. So, for me and most folks in the valley, we are driving alone to work because it's the best or even only option.
Now, obviously, this was my experience, and your mileage may vary, but the relative lack of access to public transportation
continues to be a huge issue. It keeps coming up, whether we're talking to the new CEO of Valley Regional Transit 2 weeks ago or a single mom in Kuna with an unreliable car 1 week ago. Another issue, as you saw when I walked into the station, was a lack of crosswalks and cycling lanes. We're going to talk about that next week. More Wake Up Idaho right after this.